think the Lady Evelyn water wheel, a smaller cousin of the Laxey one, Lady Isabella. The Laxey River coming down through here. All remnants of the old mining industry. And down through old Laxey to the sea. That's a better view of the Laxey River. Contained within, I suppose, what you would call it, a leak, wouldn't you? At one time that water wheel would have been used to transfer water to power some of the mine equipment here.
The Lady Evelyn wheel is 50 foot in diameter. It was built in 1865 by Lee and Gilbert Howell. But after 1910 it was no longer needed, so it was dismantled and sent to Cornwall, presumably for use in the later days of either the tin or slate industry down there. In 1950 it was dismantled and came under the ownership of the Trevithick Society, who are the current owners and who have kindly lent it to the island. It came back in pieces in 2003 and was carefully restored to working order, in which state it has been since 2006, although as we can see here, not working today. That is, of course, the day of filming.
Probably mine workers' cottages further down there. Turned into a lovely day, that's for sure. Now I'm taking a walk round to probably one of the newer attractions here, the Great Laxey Mines Railway. You can't actually go into the mine, obviously, on the train, but you can go through the tunnel underneath the road to the washery. And replicas of the original steam locomotives have been built here, Anton B. They had nothing really to go on except photographs and knowledge of how locomotives of the time were designed. Consequently, with that and with specially constructed equipment, it's now possible to travel underneath the roadway here at Laxey. It's the only place in the island left where rail goes under rail. But they only run on Saturdays. Damn it. Coming further round, there you can see the river coming underneath the roadway here. And obviously a drainage pipe there. Noisy little river, isn't it? Here's the little station where they start from. The original designer of the locomotives, I believe, was Lewin. This would be the washing floors of the Great Laxey Mine. And ore was brought out from the mines in ore trucks. This was the Laxey Mine as opposed to the Snaefell mine. And as you can see, we are here is the tram terminus, and we're here. The river's just come under the bridge there. Now, to say the locomotives are kept in there. Unfortunately, as I said, they're only open on Saturdays. And the tunnel's closed. I can't even see through the tunnel. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. But I'm going to go up and have a look and see what I can see from the other side. There's been lots of new road building around here, so I just wanted to draw your attention to this particular group of buildings. Ham and Egg Terrace. That does say ham, doesn't it? Yes, it does. And I would say they were mine workers' cottages at one time. They're certainly 19th century buildings, that's for sure. Just looking up the Laxey River valley now towards Snaefell. Like a little gorge here. Look at that. Lovely, isn't it? Very tranquil today. Can you imagine? This was once a hive of industry. Well, I come the other side of the road now. That tunnel had to go somewhere, and yet, there it is. Yes, there's the other side of the tunnel, and that's where the line goes. After it's gone through the tunnel, goes up the gorge for a short distance, and then you turn around and you come back again. I'm not going any further around here now, so I'm afraid I've done a bit too much walking, so I'm going to go and have a sit down. And here's a memorial to the mine workers. And up there, behind it, is the Snaefell Mountain Railway Works. But this is something that wasn't here when I was here before. This is to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the Snaefell mine disaster, when 20 men lost their lives and many were injured following the disaster when they went down to begin their shift into a pocket of pure carbon dioxide.
Stupid boy again. I meant, of course, carbon monoxide.
And then I believe, although I need to confirm it, there was a resultant fire which probably led to the end of the lead mining up there.
And I tell that story, as some of you might have already seen, in the film about my trip up to Snaefell.
I'm afraid this one is suffering from condensation damage inside, but this one is to remember fatalities in the great Laxey Mine where the Lady Isabella is, over a period of time from 1831 to 1912 when the mine finally closed. I noticed there it says 1912 dynamic explosion. I'm wondering if that's what finally closed the mine.
Surprisingly, it wasn't this that closed the mine. Those 4 deaths you see in 1904 were from drowning, because some supports collapsed apparently, and the galleries were beginning to flood by then, and these 4 chaps obviously got trapped down there and the water level rose and drained them. The whole mine was beginning to flood at the time, and the Isabella and other electric pumps just couldn't clear it. So they did eventually manage to get enough of the mine cleared to begin again, but in the years leading up to about 1929 everything just declined until the point where there was no sense in keeping the business on anymore. A lot of the miners had left for South Africa and places like that. So basically it's around about 1929, 1930 that the mine itself closed, although some of the ore was still processed down at the washing floors at Laxey for a few years after that. It certainly looked so by about 1935-36. All activity related to the mine had just about finished.
Interesting name, 1834, Milligan. Was Spike really around in them days? Now this is a memorial plaque on the bench upon which Jackie and I are currently sitting in the sun, out of the wind, and getting our breath back from all the walking we've done. One of the things you notice, the lovely clear water it is. Of course there's a lot of heather up on the mountains here in the Isle of Man, and up further you see the river comes out through yet another tunnel under the road. And what mystifies me is that tunnel there. Now my logic is saying to me that if they restored that little railway line down underneath the road, it goes halfway up the gorge, but it was there to bring the iron ore down to the washeries, or lead ore as it were. That I reckon is where it come out of the mine.
Thought it might be interesting to show photographs taken from a similar spot about 50 years ago. You can see how much the trees have grown in that time. Well, this photo shows what it's like now in the place where I was filming from. I've got another photograph here from 50 odd years ago. It was taken roughly where the front door of the fire station is now, looking up towards what was our coach in them days. It was either Krellins or Corkills. We used either, and I can't remember which one this one is. It's not a very good photograph, but you can easily see how things have definitely changed over the years.
And if you were to follow that pathway as it is now all the way down there, you would probably join up with the track bed of the railway. Whether they'll ever extend it back up here or not, I don't know. All these things cost money, and money's what they haven't got. Anyway, interesting theory. We're just a little bit closer up now. I spoke about heather earlier, sort of assuming that there would be heather on the mountain sides, but without checking I can't of course take it for granted. This is interesting, not because it's a toilet, but because this was the old gunpowder storage house. Interesting use for it now. Now, some of the old mine buildings here have been converted into a little museum. And here's a smaller wheel, but you can see it's working as you would normally expect. The water is fed in over the top, and it goes round clockwise basically. not clockwise, anti-clockwise. What am I talking about? And drives the machinery inside. That's obviously purely for decoration now, but all the different places where the river and all the little streams and that come from the mountainside all converge. Lovely, isn't it? The steps down there are too steep for me, but that's the River Laxey coming down through this little part of the gorge. A lovely place here, it really is. It's just everything's so steep. There's another probably old mine workers building, or mine building of some kind.
I'm pretty sure that's the building you can see in the top left on one of those photographs that I've just shown you.
Being very well repurposed into a modern dwelling. Now that is the kind of restoration work or updating that I like. You can't restore it as it was originally. At least keep what you can and incorporate something new but not garish. And that is the Lady Isabella waterwheel. You see it's driven from the bottom. No water to fill buckets. This one works by paddles. And it looks like it ebbs and flows according to the current. How fast the water's moving. And this would have powered the mines, or the machinery in the mines here.
Right, let's get one or two things out of the way here. This water wheel, the Lady Isabella, was built in 1854 by John Casement. It was named after the wife of the island's governor at the time, and not that I knew it when I was filming this year, but I have now found out it was actually built to pump water from the mines, not to actually drive any machinery. So I'll get that cleared up straight away. At 75 foot in diameter, it is reported to be the world's largest diameter working water wheel. I'm going to slot in a few photographs as we go on, taken between 50 and 52, 53 years ago. I'm not going to comment on any of them, they're pretty self-explanatory, self-evident, but they make an interesting comparison to what you're seeing on the video.
You'll see the Manx emblem is the wrong way round. Apparently when they put them up there, they forgot. They took the casting out, and instead of turning it round, they just put it up there as it was. You'll see the beam on the left hand side going up and down, just to illustrate how the power of the water is moving the machinery that drove the rest of the machinery down there. As underneath us would have been the mine workings. I came here in 1970, which is about 2 years after it had been fully restored. All this area had lain derelict for years, and even now it's not fully refurbished, but it's a lot more pleasant than it was, that's for sure. Now all that stuff over there, it looks a bit too modern for me to be anything to do with the mines, but I suppose some of it could have been. I wish I could get closer though. This is a lovely waterfall down here that you can't get close enough to see it properly. But boy, you can hear it. So anyway, that's the River Laxey, having come all the way down from Snaefell. Might not look very wide, but there's some force behind that. I've just spotted something up there. I have no idea what that is. More likely to be a farmhouse. But right on the top of the hill there. Amazing. Well, that's if I can keep this thing in focus. Every now and again you can hear the tooting of the electric trams as they go up and down, and I think I've just spotted the tram sheds of the Snaefell Mountain Railway over there in the background. There they are, with one of the tram cars inside it. So at least I've got something of it on film. And they're making their way up to Snaefell. I can hear the click click of the tram car as it goes up. I doubt we'll be able to see it because of the they usually stop as we did, where there's a gap, but I'm guessing I'm not anywhere near the gap where I'll be able to see it. No, not today. Here's another conundrum. I'm standing down here and it's quite breezy. Way up there at the top of the waterwheel there's a flag, and most of the time it's hardly moving. It's mostly wrapped itself round the flagpole, I think, and now it's freed itself again. But just now there wasn't anything to it up there. Amazing.